Alright, so now that these things are getting a little bit harder to shim, there seems to be some renewed interest in cracking them, which actually isn't very hard. It can at times be a little bit time consuming, but for the most part it's a pretty easy process, which is what I'm going to demonstrate here. So the first thing you have to do if you're cracking a master combination lock is find out what the last number is. And to do that, you're going to find all the points where the shackle sticks when you're turning the dial and pulling on it. So if I pull on the shackle here and I just turn it, eventually it's going to get to a point where it sticks. You just want to take note of these points. There's going to always be a pattern, usually three patterns. In this case, you can see that the dial sort of sticks going over the 0 here. So it goes a little bit past the 0 mark. You'll find this to be the case for everything that ends in 0. So you go to 10, does the same thing. 20, does the same thing. 30, does the same thing. Again, there usually will be 3 of these patterns. So here's another one. You can see the 3 and 4 here. It kind of goes from 3 to 4, maybe a little bit before the 3, right up to a little bit before the 4. It'll do this pattern for every other number that ends in a 3 or 4. So for example, 13, 14 does the same thing. 23, 24. 33, 34, and so on. And then the last one, you'll see, is between the 6 and the 7. And does this for 16, 17. 26, 27. 36, 37. Now to find the last number, what you want to do is you want to find the anomaly, the one that doesn't look like the rest in the pattern, for example. So you'll notice with these going over the 0 here, for all the ones that go over 0, they're pretty much the same, where that arrow here will go. Almost midway between the dashes, right? And if you look, the rest will do that too. So what you want to find, though, is whichever one in the pattern doesn't quite fit. You may have seen it when I was going through them, but the answer comes out to be the 26, 27 pattern. So you see if I go back to 5, it's almost right on the numbers, right? Right on 6, right on 7. Right on 16, right on 17. But if you go to the 25, you'll see it doesn't actually quite get to 26, and it goes well past 27. And so this makes it sort of an anomaly. And you'll always find this to be the case, to some degree or other, on every master lock you try to crack. So we know the last number is this space here, this sort of a little past 26, well over 27, a little bit before 28. And that's your last number. So once you have that, it's really just a matter of going through the possible options, but because these things aren't exactly high quality safes, you don't have to be very accurate. You can be, almost go in increments of 2.5, and it makes it a lot faster. So you just clear the discs here. Now take it to 0, assuming that's the first number. I'll go past the first number a little bit, and then go back to the last number. Pull in the shackle, see if it works. Then I'll just go a little bit farther. You can actually feel that you'll catch the disc again. And you'll push the disc a little bit farther. Now I'm doing it slow so you can see, but realistically you can actually do this quite quickly. because you're mostly doing it by feel. You're not actually doing it by reading what number you're at. You can actually feel the disc as you push it a little bit farther. Now once you get close to what you think the last number is, you just kind of go past it, a little bit past it, and then back. Until you get back to where you started at the 0. Then you reset, and you make your first number a little bit past 0. And again, you can go in about 2.5 increments. So we'll go to 2.5 pretty much here. Go past that a little bit, and then back to what you think the last number is, and check. Past it a little bit. Oh, there we go. And it's open. Now, if you were paying close attention, or if you're doing this slowly, you would know what the combination is now. I usually do it too quickly to remember what the combination is, but you can always look inside this hole with a bright light, line up all the discs, and then just keep adding and subtracting the same number to all the numbers that you saw when you lined up the discs, and you can eventually get to the combination. But yeah, it's that easy. Now, sometimes you'll have it so that the first number is very, very high, and it'll take you a little bit more time because you'll have to keep going until you get to the, first number being 25, for example. But I find when doing it sort of quickly, the longest it's ever taken is about 5 minutes, and that includes finding the first number, finding that anomaly, and then going through to some very high first number. But yeah, so even if these things are a lot more difficult to shim, they're still about as easy as they always were to crack.